So my name is Kate St John. I'm a senior associate at Heidrick & Struggles. I'm based in the Sydney office, here in lockdown at the moment, and joined the firm 3.5 years ago. Have been throughout that time working with Graham Kittle, who's the regional managing partner for the GTS practice, so Global Technology and Professional Services, and have been working on a range of different mandates and helping him to deliver on a range of different searches. And some of those searches have been with global tech and software companies and looking at senior leaders and country manager roles within the market, as well as Australian tech and software firms, and also a range of different functional technology leadership roles, so CIO, CTO, CDO, and a range of critical roles that report into them. And that's across a range of different industries, from financial services to retail. Before COVID and lockdowns, I got the opportunity to travel overseas and meet lots of different colleagues in other offices, which was great, and really enjoy my role here at Heidrick.
Can you please share your best practice or any experience, and what have you learned from that experience?
Yeah, so one of the best practice engagements that I worked on was for a global software company, one of the largest players in the market, and definitely a brand that everyone would know and recognize. And we were engaged by their talent and HR teams in the Asia region probably a year before we made the placement. They knew one of the executives was planning to move on to another role within the organisation and wanted us to start looking at the talent within the market and do more of a pipelining exercise of, if they needed to move quickly, they wanted to know exactly who to have those conversations with. So we engaged a global team. We had teams here in Australia, in Asia, in the US, and in Europe as well, looking at senior software leaders who had experience in the Asia region. They may be from Asia, but had been working overseas and also had that global experience. So we mapped kind of every leader in those organizations in software and then also into services as well. So looking at adjacent industries to see what other skill sets could be interesting to them. And then from there started making some key introductions to this organization, looking at more of a confidential mandate, but making some key introductions to the talent and HR and regional leaders. And then eventually when the senior Asia leader moved on, we were very quickly able to place a candidate that we'd been in conversations with for many months. So it was a seamless transition. The organisation was really happy with the final placement, and a lot of their focus was on, us mapping diverse talent in the region as well, looking at, gender diversity, but also ethnic diversity to ensure that the leader that was coming in had a really strong understanding of the very diverse APAC market. So an impressive HR or recruitment strategy that I've seen in my time at Heidrick was some of the work that we did for a regional bank here in Australia. So they were looking for a chief information officer. Part of their core business strategy is heavily focused on technology and digital, and enabling the organisation through the CIO and the work that the CIO does. And they really wanted to elevate their presence in Australia and for the banking sector within technology, and hence wanted to attract a calibre of candidate that they typically may not be able to access. So the strategy devised by the head of people and culture was to really utilise the senior executive leadership team to help us attract the right level of candidate. So part of getting the final candidate across the line was engagement by the chairman, the CEO, multiple board members, and multiple people on the leadership team to really engage the candidates that they wanted to bring in, and got us a really great result.
What do you think of HR trends or any issues in your company currently based on Australia?
A lot of the conversation around diversity to date has been gender diversity, as that's an area that we haven't been as well across in the past, and we're seeing really significant changes in the market in terms of leadership teams, CEOs, board members becoming highly diverse in terms of gender. And I think the conversation is really evolving then to become much more than gender, talking about ethnic diversity, age, and even more so around diversity of thought. You know, a lot of the time when we're talking with senior leaders and CEOs around the kind of person that they're bringing into their organization, it's looking at what is the talent within the team at the moment, where are the skills and the gaps, not just in terms of, you know, kind of core experience, but in terms of background, skill sets, and also, you know, the diversity of the team and ensuring there's a broad range of thinking to really get the best result and be successful. And I think that's an area that Heidrick takes very seriously, is diversity, bringing diverse candidates, bringing forward a slate and range of candidates for the leaders to review and to assess, and not just bringing forward diverse candidates, but candidates who really promote diversity within the organisation once they land.
Please share with us what diversity, equity, and inclusion means to you and why they are so important.
So I think part of our role as in recruitment and executive search is to bring diverse talent to the table, but also consult companies in terms of, you know, looking at the brief and the success profile that they would give to us and what are the core requirements, and figure out what exactly is critical for this role, because often we find with diverse talent they may not tick every single one of the boxes that a company has come to us to fill. We find that often some male candidates who are further along in their career may be more experienced and tick more of those boxes, but if you're an organisation that genuinely believes in bringing in diverse talent, you often have to make some concessions around the kind of profile that you're looking for, as often a lot of diverse talent and females, you know, their background simply looks different to a male's career. So, you know, we definitely take that on as our role to kind of consult organisations and kind of bring that diverse talent that may not exactly tick all the boxes.
Do you have diversity and inclusion in the workplace?
Certain companies would have different quotas and kind of targets to be able to achieve those goals. Often they're not as widely publicised or advertised. It's often just an internal target that HR and senior leadership are working towards, and that's both, you know, across the organisation, at the leadership team level, and then also at the board level. So it's assessed not just, you know, if all the graduates were female, it's looking at across the different levels of the organisation and ensuring that there's diversity represented, especially at senior leadership. Again, I think a lot of companies are moving towards a 40-40-10 or 40-40-20, sorry, and looking at kind of 40% men, 40% women, and 20% for other, and accounting for other kinds of diversity within gender as well.
What was the biggest change before and after COVID-19?
I think there's been massive changes. I mean, one of the changes is that we're